Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome the new Zeiss Ikon Nettar that I recently acquired on eBay for 20 quid. And if you don't know what a quid is, it's £1. And it's goodbye to my old Zeiss Ikon Nettar that you've seen many times on the channel that I couldn't fix. So most of you probably saw my last video when I went out and took photographs of steam trains. I took the Zeiss Ikon Nettar, my old one, and I came back and it was all soft focus, so I figured that there was a problem with the focusing system somewhere, and then I noticed on the lens that it was all hazed over and it didn't look too great, so I thought maybe that's the problem why my photographs were soft focus. And thanks to you guys, I've got some great comments on how to clean the lens, so I kind of started to take the lens apart and I cleaned it. The haze and the crack came off of it. I've got a clear lens, but I still had a focusing problem. So in the end I ended up going on eBay and buying a new one, like I said, for 20 quid. That was a right bargain. And so I haven't used it yet, so I'm going to make this video of me testing out this Zeiss Ikon and going out and taking some great, hopefully great photographs with it, with Ilford's HP5. I've got quite a few rolls of this stuff, and I'm going to start off by testing the shutter speeds. There's only 3 shutter speeds, so it's only 3 frames I'm going to waste on that, and also mainly make sure there's no light leaks. I've already tested it for light leaks, looking at it in the dark cupboard, shining torch through the lens, etc, etc. It looks all right, it looks in mint condition. And then I'm going to do some photographs up on the downs, see what we get there, a few close-up shots as well, so I can test the focusing on this one. Hopefully I'm going to come back with some sharp prints. I'll just quickly go through the differences between my old Nettar and the new one that I've got here. Before I carry on, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get a notification next time I post a video. Cheers. So the old one, God rest its soul, it's got a model number of 51716, and the new one has a model number of 51816. So I went online and to see the differences. Well, the old one, it says, was manufactured between 1951 and 1957, and the new one that I've got was manufactured between 1958 and 1959. They've both got the same lens. It's f4.5 75mm Nova and a Stigmat. I hope I haven't butchered that name. And they've both got the same shutter speed, 1/25th of a second, 1/75th and 1/200th of a second, and obviously the same apertures as well, f4.5 all the way to f22. Slight differences on the top. The shutter button is slightly different. With the new one I've got a thread for a cable release, and if you look on the lens, the thread for the cable release is blanked over on this one, whereas my old one, that's where I used to put my cable release. So that's one slight difference. And the only other difference I could find is the new Zeiss Ikon has a failsafe for double exposures. So it's got this little tiny red window inside that pops up when I need to advance to the next frame. So it's like an indicator that says to me, I'm not going to take a photograph unless you advance the film, which is great because the amount of times on my old Zeiss that I went out and double exposed or advanced a frame without taking a shot is unreal. You know, you waste frames. So that's a result that I found with this new modified version of the Zeiss Ikon Nettar. So I'm quite excited. This is the first time that I've shot this camera, and hopefully it ain't going to give me no problems, no light leaks, no focusing issues, and no shutter speed issues either. So the first thing I need to do is load the film inside the camera and burst off 3 frames just to test those 3 shutter speeds, and then I'm going to get up on the downs, take a series of shots and see what we get. It's a 6x6 camera, so I'm going to end up with 12 frames from the Zeiss. Hopefully it won't let me down. So I've just loaded the camera with Ilford's HP5 400 speed films. Now before I go out and take the photographs, I want to use the first 3 frames testing the shutter speeds of the camera. There's only 3 shutter speeds, like I said, a 25th, a 75th and a 200th of speed. So I've set this simple scene up on the plant. It's also going to test the focusing for me as well. I've got a Rowie rangefinder on top of the camera, so I'm going to be using that to get some focusing on this plant. And then I'm going to take 3 photographs. One is going to be at 200th of a speed, which is what I'm going to meter for, and then I'll drop the shutter speeds to 75th and then a 25th. So when I develop my negatives, the first one at 200 speed, what I metered for, should be correct exposure, and then the other 2 should be one slightly over and one even more over exposure. That way I can see if the shutter speeds are working or not. You can also hear it on the camera, but it's good to shoot and see for yourself. So that's me 3 shots done, 200th of a second, 75th of a second and 25th of a second, same aperture. So when I develop the film I should be able to see a difference between those three frames. So let's get this packed up, let's get up on the downs and see what we can find up there. So I've decided to swerve the downs. It's just started to drizzle a little tiny bit. Apparently in the UK, especially the south of England, we're in for some wet weather coming up. It's just started to drizzle, so I decided to swerve the downs and come to my local woods. But don't worry, I won't get lost. I know my way around these woods, just not in the dark, but in the daytime I do. Yeah, so let's see what woodland stuff we can get. So because it's quite low light in these woods at the moment, and it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's a dull day and all these trees and stuff are blocking all the light coming through. So I'm only having to shoot wider apertures, you know, to let the light hit the film. But I'm going to go into bulb mode and get a couple of f22 shots. So it's giving me 1 second at f22. Let's try that. Advance the frame. You can hear it click. Shot number 6, woods. So this is going to be 1 second. I have to count this in. If I overexpose, that's okay, I can fix that in the darkroom. That's 1. No, you're alright.
Oh, you're filming some things?
Yeah, I'm just filming the trees and taking photographs.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Oh, he's protecting his stick.
He wants a stick. He wants a stick.
Oh, I've got it.
There we go. Go on.
There
Yeah.
we go.
There we go.
Get a stick.
He's got a stick.
Yeah, there's another one. So this is my second to last frame, and I've measured this tree, and it says on my row rangefinder it's 1.2 meters exactly, which equates to just under 4 feet. So I've put that into the on the focus on the lens there, just under 4 feet. No reason why it shouldn't be in focus, and I'm going to risk it and go at 4.5 at 25th of a second. So let's take this shot, and we'll soon see on the negatives if the focusing is working all right. There you go. Now it's time to put this camera, all the other bits and bobs back in your bum bag, or fanny pack, whatever you want to call it, and then get back, develop the film. I'm going to develop it in XTOL. Probably going to go 1 part to 2. Let's see what that gives me. It's going to give me a little bit more grain, especially with the 400 HP5. But also give me less contrast in these woods, so I can work with it a little bit better in the darkroom. That's my theory anyway. So let's get back to the car, get home, get in the development, get in the darkroom, make some prints, end the video. So these are the first shots that I took. Remember I said about checking out the shutter speeds while working on the camera. That was the normal exposure, and then I went to 75th of a second and then 25th of a second. So there's a big difference between all 3 of them, which is great. That means, that says to me that the shutter speeds are working. Whether they're working at the correct speeds, that's another thing, but at least they're not getting stuck or anything like that. So, you know, there's only a partial difference between all 3, which is what I expected. So pleased as punch with that. The other thing is there's no light leaks. Well happy there's no light leaks with the camera. That's fantastic. And then I have to look at the sharpness. Well, I got my focusing bang on with that rangefinder using the Zeiss, and they're all sharp as well. So I'm as happy as a pig in shit at the moment with this contact sheet and the negatives that I've come back with from the Zeiss Ikon, the new Zeiss Ikon in the woods. I don't quite know what happened with this one here. I've got a feeling that I nudged the focus ring just before I took the photograph. I did notice that the focus ring on the camera is very delicate, so there's not much resistance on it at all, so you kind of touch it and it just spins off. That's what I think happened there, but everything else is nice and sharp, and I'm really happy. I'm also happy with the way that I metered up and got my exposures and got the development. Everything seems to have gone down really well on this shoot. So I've already printed this one here. This pen don't work either. The pens are gone. And there's two more that I like. That's this one here with the branch coming through, and this one here with the branch dead on the floor. So I'm going to print off this one here, show you guys how I make a print of this, and then I'll print the other one off camera, and I'll show you the results at the end. So this is the template, cardboard template I'm going to be using. That's going to be my makeshift easel. Underneath you can see inscribes in green here. This is so I know when the red light's on where to place the paper to get it straight underneath the easel. It works pretty much all the time for me. That's how I managed to get the prints quite straight. And I'm not going to be doing any cropping at all. This is a 7.5 inch aperture square, so that negative, once it's projected, is going to sit happily inside there. No cropping whatsoever, with a slight border of probably about 0.5 centimetre all the way around. So I've got the whole image. The whole imprint will probably be about 7 inches. So it'll be nice and sharp, nice and detailed. It's not over enlarged for this medium format neg. So let's get the negative on the carrier and I'll show you it projected. So that's the negative that I'm working on. It looks red maybe on the videos because I've got a grade 2.5 filter sitting underneath the lens there. Let's just make sure it's in focus. It's very fine grain, this HP5 in that XTOL 1:2 that I developed this. That surprised me. I thought I'd have seen a bit more grain, but very fine grain. And I'm going to go right down the tree from top to bottom on my test strip. There's my card. Bit of card, test strip for 2 seconds. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And in the developer, see what that looks like. There's my test strip there, consisting of grade 2.5 filter. So I've got 2, 4, 6, I can't even see the rest, but I'm looking at 2 seconds. To me 2 seconds looks good. 4 seconds is too dark. I could go 3 in between, but I'm going to go for 2 second enlargement with a full piece of paper in, see how it looks. I was talking in one of my previous videos, I don't know, maybe a few weeks ago, about questions that I get on Enlarger time. Some people say it just takes too short time to project the image. This is only 2 seconds. That's all I need. I don't need any dodging and burning, just literally a 2 second projection, and that works well for me on this particular print. Sometimes I'd need a longer time to project if I want to do any dodging and burning and stuff, but this is going to work out just fine at 2 seconds. No messing about, simple print. I'm just positioning my paper so that I've got a heavy border at the bottom. Down this area. That looks about good. Two seconds. Be very quick. 2. Off, my timer got stuck, but I managed to capture it in time. That's good. Okay, it's pretty much there. I'm going to leave it go a little bit longer just to see if I can pop more blacks out of it. I doubt if I will, but I've got time. No rush. So I've now got myself another Zeiss Ikon Nettar for the channel that I can use, and you'll see me shooting this no doubt in future videos, and I'm elated that it works. You know, there was no problems with it whatsoever, and like I said at the start, for £20 on eBay, medium format 6x6 classic folding camera, for 20 quid, you know, I could have gone wrong, it might not have worked, but I had a result, so well happy with that. A lot of questions people ask me about the rangefinder that I use. This was kindly sent to me about a year or so ago, donated to the channel. It's a little Rowie rangefinder, tongue twister, a Rowie rangefinder that you put on top of your folding camera or camera without a rangefinder, such as this one. And you look through and it brings the two images together, and then you read on the back what your distance is, and then you dial that into your camera. So that's what that does, a little Rowie rangefinder. Fantastic bit of kit for these folding cameras. Anyway, I'm happy as anything with those negatives. They come out really well. XTOL 1:2. That's my contact sheet that I first made, and from that I could then see the exposures that I made and any mistakes going on. Everything was fine. And then I went off and made a few of the prints. That was the first print that I made. Just a tree trunk. That was quite nice. That was f22 using a bulb mode and guessing 1 second, so kind of hit and miss, but that came out okay. Got the focusing right on that, nice and sharp. That was another print I made. You saw that one on the video. That was at 4.5, and I got some nice bokeh going on. Is it bokeh? Whatever you want to call it. Nice depth of field, shallow depth of field going on in the background, with the trees kind of blurring a little bit. Another print that I made of that one, just different times under the Enlarger, and another one just testing out, and that was another one that I made a print of as well that I liked. So you saw me at the start of the video putting this camera to bed. Do you know what? Life is still going to live on in my old Zeiss Ikon Nettar. I don't believe in throwing these old cameras away. They're few and far between, and especially if they work. This one I know has got focusing problems, but I'm going to send this and gift this to someone that's supported my channel for quite some time, and I know that they'll be able to fix it and make good use of it themselves. So it won't go to waste. I know it's going to go somewhere where it's going to be fixed and used regular by another film shooter. So anyway guys, thanks for watching if you did watch to the end, and don't forget my prints are on Etsy for those people that inquire about my prints. They're on Etsy if you want to purchase one of the prints that I make in the darkroom from these videos. And also got to say thanks very much to the people that support me on Patreon and the people that support me on the YouTube community members area as well. I really do appreciate your support. I'll catch you next time.